Now on Good Day, the valley is waking up drenched from overnight thunder showers. Team coverage on storm damage and road closures at this hour.
Plus, disturbing new evidence uncovered in the death of a Henderson teenager. We have the graphic video investigators found on some cell phones documenting the teenager's death.
And several media outlets suing Officer Charleston Hartfield's widow. Why they filed a motion to get a look at the autopsy.
8 News Now Good Day, the valley's news leader, starts right now.
Now, live, this is 8 News Now, Good Day.
6 a.m. on this Friday. Good morning to you. Thank you for waking up with us. I'm Kirsten Joyce.
I'm John Langler. Several rounds of thunderstorms rolled through the valley yesterday, waking you up perhaps. Hail, powerful winds, heavy downpours. There was even a lot of lightning.
Incredible lightning. We've got some time lapse from one of our sky cams last night to share with you. Palm trees blowing around, the intense lightning in the skies. In certain areas, the wind clocked 60 miles per hour. We've got a photo that came from one of our viewers where her tree fell in her backyard, bringing down the fence.
Many of you also shared with us on social media pictures of the lightning. Here's one from Ann Myers in Henderson. Just some of the images we got from last night's storm. So we have team coverage of the aftermath of the storms. Sherry, Nate, and Kristen, but we're going to start with Sherry with a look on whether there may be some more rain on the way.
Good morning, everybody. That was quite the show last night, and crazy, wasn't it, Nate?
Oh, insane.
Oh, my goodness. Well, skies are cloudy, but it's quiet out there this morning. Thank goodness. Boy, we did have some powerful storms, and it is cooler, but still quite muggy. I want to show you the heat index, which is the feels like temperatures. Remember, we've been in the 90s almost every single morning. Well, at least it's feeling more like the mid to low 80s. Even 79 in Centennial Hills. I want to thank all the folks who sent great pictures and video on our social media pages. This is from Josh Foran in the Southeast Valley, who sent the pictures of hail almost a ½ inch in diameter yesterday with these ferocious thunderstorms, which just erupted mainly east, southeast, and northwest and north sides of town. The Southwest Valley neighborhoods, you kind of got left out of the storm. 60+ mile-an-hour winds up at Nellis, Boulder Airport, Boulder City Airport. You had 53+ mile-an-hour winds, and as well as North Las Vegas also had some powerful winds. But this was Decatur and Alta. Look at the flooding there with the heavy rain that came with these downpours. There were neighborhoods that reported 1/3 of an inch of rain to nearly a ½ an inch of rain, and those were isolated neighborhoods. So we're still looking at, look at these rain totals. 2/3 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch on the far east side, and that's where we had so much damage from the winds too. We'll get those temperatures back up to low triple digits, 107 for the afternoon, and still a chance of thunderstorms in the mountains. Well, we definitely had some damage. There were power outages, lots of people without power in the Southeast Valley. So we want to check out what's going on this morning as you get out on your Friday. Kristen Drummond joins us live from Boulder Highway and Russell with an update on the latest. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, Sherry. This is one of the areas of the valley that was mostly impacted a lot by last night's weather. We're right now on Broadbent, just off of Boulder Highway, where you can see over my shoulder that Boulder Highway is completely shut down. There are power poles that appear to be snapped in half just by the strength of last night's weather. And then you can see the power lines drooping down along Boulder Highway, all the way down to where NV Energy crews are at the moment, trying to restore power to the area. Now, NV Energy is reporting less than 1,200 customers around the valley without power at the moment. Around the Henderson area, it's estimated around 1,000 customers still without power. So crews working tirelessly right now, trying to restore that power. Down the road near Hacienda and Nellis, a palm tree caught on fire from a lightning strike. This is video from 8 News Now viewer Patty B. She sent this to us. She and some stand a safe distance away while recording the power of Mother Nature during these events. And on the far east side of the valley, a minor flood near Bonanza and Hollywood. As always, when you see flooding, turn around. Don't drown. You don't know what's under the water or the damage to the road. So deciding to drive through and getting stuck can carry a fine. Now, NV Energy is estimating that power may be restored around 7:15 this morning. But of course, with crews restoring the power right now on Boulder Highway, that is leading to some road closures, including where I am here at Broadbent. I'll toss it over to Nate, who has the latest for you on your morning commute. Nate.
Thank you very much, Kristen. Amazing pictures of those power poles, but here's another amazing picture from a Regional Transportation Commission fast camera. We are pretty sure that these are the poles that came down in the wind, as Kristen was showing you the pictures of the bottoms of those poles, what's left of them after being snapped off by upwards of 60-mile-an-hour winds. This is why Boulder Highway is completely closed between Russell and Sunset. So how do you get around? Well, if you're on the side streets, find your way to Russell or Sunset and work your way over to the 95 515. And certainly if you're on Boulder Highway, you won't have a choice to get off at Russell or at Sunset. Meanwhile, we head to the Spaghetti Bowl, where lanes are open, but you do have a lot of companies southbound on the I-15 heading for the Spaghetti Bowl. By the way, there will be a complete closure of the 95 through the Spaghetti Bowl. The 15 will remain open, but they're going to be destroying the northbound 15 bridge over the 95. That's why the 95 will be closed this weekend. John, Kirsten.
All right, thanks very much, Nate. Some new video this morning involving the murder of Henderson teen Matthew Minkler.
8 News Now has obtained cell phone video of his murder. We've chosen not to show the most graphic images. Brittany Edney reports.
I just caught a body.
This is Jaden Caruso as he appears to brag about killing 17-year-old Matthew Minkler. We're pausing the footage here because Caruso then goes on to show Minkler's body on the floor. Video from earlier that day shows what looks like a group of teens smoking pot inside a vacant Henderson home. That's where police found Minkler's body. In the following days, investigators combed through Caruso and Cody Harlan's cell phones, ultimately finding videos that reportedly document the aftermath of Minkler's death on Snapchat. Another clip shows Caruso filming himself as he picks up the gun and points it at himself. This one was recorded a few hours later after police believe Minkler was shot in the face and died. And you can see Caruso trying to wipe his shoes clean.
That was Brittany Edney reporting. The suspects, Jaden Caruso and Cody Harlan, pleaded not guilty in court Wednesday. They're both back in court next week.
Metro Police investigating 2 deadly shootings from yesterday. In one case, a woman was arrested after a deadly domestic violence incident in the west part of town. A man arrested after a shooting near Las Vegas Boulevard in Sahara. In that particular incident, Metro Police says an armed security guard on his lunch break was forced to open fire. Investigators believe a confrontation led to the shooting, but few other details were made available. Now, in the other instance, near the 95 in Harmon, Metro says a woman shot and killed her husband after a fight. Detectives say they've been called to the home before for domestic dispute at least one other time. Officers looking at this case as a possible case of self-defense. The husband had a restraining order. There was a restraining order against the husband.
The Review-Journal and the Associated Press are asking the widow of one October victim, Metro Police Officer Charleston Hartfield, to pay their legal fees.
This stems from court action over the release of autopsy reports from October 1. Officer Hartfield was off duty when he was shot and killed at the Route 91 Harvest Festival.
Hartfield's widow fought and blocked the autopsy releases in court, but on appeal, the court eventually sided with the Review-Journal and other media outlets. Now, the paper's attorney is asking for more than $60,000 in legal fees. The newspaper's attorney says the court ruling allows them to hold Hartfield's attorney responsible.
This lawsuit is frivolous. Attorneys have an obligation. Even when your clients come to you and they've suffered something horrible and they're in pain, you have an obligation to counsel them about the law.
All she ever wanted to do was say, when is enough enough, relative to the heartache that has to be levied upon her every time she reads an article, every time they want to do something. Do they really need the autopsy report?
The case is going to the Supreme Court, state Supreme Court, for review, and it will rule on other issues surrounding the autopsy records release. Today, former Las Vegas City Councilman Ricky Barlow will be sentenced for pocketing campaign donations. The U.S. Attorney's Office is asking for at least a year in jail. Barlow pleaded guilty to taking more than $66,000 in cash in kickback schemes from campaign vendors. The plea agreement says there were 4 trusted associates also involved, but they have not been named and they have not been charged. Coming up next at 8 News Now, a new mobile health care clinic is open thanks to the Golden Knights Foundation.
The cost the foundation is covering for patients, which neighborhoods it'll soon be in.
And we're going back in time to the 80s. Live at the Discovery Children's Museum this morning, a fundraiser it's putting on just for adults. You're watching the Valley's News Leader.
As the Valley's news leader.
You're watching the Valley's News Leader with Kirsten Joyce, John Langler, Sherry Swinsk, and Nate Tannenbaum. This is 8 News Now. Good day.
6:12 on your Friday morning. Let's take a look back. Just a few decades. The 80s taking over the Discovery Children's Museum beginning tomorrow.
Yeah, this lasts a whole week, folks. We've got Hector Mejia. He was the mad scientist. Now, where are you inside the museum, Hector?
We are right by the entrance to show you that the 80s experience will begin for you as soon as you walk in through the door, and this will really take you guys back, because as you can see on this display, you can see toys from back in the 80s. Popular things like right here to the side, or actually right there, My Little Pony. Joining me live to talk a little bit more about this, Austin Hirama. What is this all about?
Well, this whole upcoming week is going to be our Totally 80s week here at the Discovery Children's Museum, and it's going to include a fundraiser, actually.
That fundraiser is for the museum and also for Junior Achievement of Southern Nevada. They have great programs that teach life skills for kids, grades K through 12, so they're really raising money so they can keep helping the community. Tell us more about these toys. This is what a lot of people are interested in, like Light Bright here and Mad Libs and just the side mix and match fashion. And right on top, you have your Viewmaster, which also takes you way back then.
Well, funny you should mention that. We actually have a gigantic Light Bright at the very top of our Summit Gallery so that you can have that 80s experience at probably 4 or 5 times the size. So that's a fun thing to do.
And that's another great thing about this place. It's really hands-on, and also a lot of the exhibits and things you can go through, they're big enough for not just children but also for their parents to go through them, right?
Absolutely. Our whole museum is designed with parents in mind.
All right, so this all ends with a huge party next Saturday, 21 and over party. You guys are encouraging people to come dressed up in 80s style.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm rocking my 80s style right now. I love Schoolhouse Rock. So absolutely come dressed up as your favorite character from your favorite 80s theme thing, and the Ghostbusters will be attending too. So
that is great. I know you're really excited for that. You guys can also come out and be dressed up as an 80s icon. I don't know, try Cher, Michael Jackson, whoever your favorite person from that era that speaks the 80s era from back then. Before we let you guys go, let's talk about the ticket prices for the parties next Saturday, July the 28th. That party, 21 and over again, from 7 to 9:30 at night. $35 for general admission, or $20 for Discovery members. Tickets go up to $50 starting this Sunday. We're going to move around and show you just one more part of the museum coming up in just about half hour. Reporting live, Hector Mejia, 8 News Now.
Hector, you got to grab us an Etch-a-Sketch. How about that Atari? What else, guys?
Slinky?
Find a hairband in there somewhere. I don't mean a hairband you put around your hair. I mean a whole band.
Oh, a
hairband.
Right.
I see.
Yeah, hairbands of the 80s.
I want to get one of the fella next to you has got that Schoolhouse Rock shirt on.
That was such a popular show.
Yeah, that's a kind of a hipster shirt. I can
Very
see.
cool. Love that.
Wearing that to
80s.
out at night. That'd be cool.
Aquanet.
Oh,
the
Aquanet.
bangs,
Yeah,
the
it was all
tidal
about
wave
the
bangs.
big hair in the 80s.
Are we just saying things from the 80s now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Snap
We love the
bracelets?
80s. It's a great fundraiser they're doing.
Yeah.
Smart idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we play 80s music here on the desk during the commercial breaks to keep us
Rockin'
lively and rolling. And yeah, good
Of course,
stuff.
we know that Hector had to go back to the history books to learn about
I was
the
just going to say he wasn't old enough.
But that's
around
okay.
in the
Wait, I think he was born in the 80s, you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Let's revisit
No,
that.
He was.
The temperature was 80 degrees when he was born.
That's it. Speaking of the 80s, that's exactly where we are this morning. We are in the 80s with temperatures. That rain really cooled us off yesterday, which felt pretty good. Humidity is way up, though. We've got clouds out there. But look, isn't it nice to be back at temperatures normal? Low 80s for the morning lows is exactly normal for this time in July. It even feels like 79 up in Aliante, 79 Centennial Hills, mid-80s for Henderson, mid-80s for the Strip, Sunrise Mountain 84. We had some mega rain yesterday in certain areas, like up in the mountains, Lee Canyon Road, and back over to the far east side of town and southeast, plus big winds as well. Mesquite, the Moapa Valley, you've been getting hit, it seems like every day, over and over with heavy rains, lightning, and high winds. 84 at Red Rock, 80 in Pahrump. Not so much, a little bit on the backside of the Spring Mountains a couple of times, but that's really been it. Lots of heat in the middle of the country again, especially the southern plains where they've got excessive heat warnings posted again. So I rolled back the radar so that you could just see this explosion of thunderstorms. First, we were watching storms that started in the mountains yesterday around noontime. Then it just, wow, walloped to the east side, southeast, and north side of the valley. Let's go to Silverado Ranch. Jeff Foran sent us these pictures of hail. He had one hailstone, and then he had a big cluster like that, and they were almost a half an inch in diameter. So that was some pretty good hail that was pounding his yard and his cars there. Serene and Spencer, we had some good flooding in this part of town. Overwhelmed the roads very quickly. We had 1/3 of an inch to over 1/2 an inch of rain on the far east and southeast sides of town. And then we had Silverado Ranch also had reports of hail. So we had lots of areas that had lots of crazy weather yesterday. And of course, all of us, I think, got at least a good taste or a view of the lightning as well. All right, so there's still so much moisture associated with the monsoon flow. And of course, Arizona walloped, especially the Grand Canyon yesterday and up into southern Utah. There is still a good chance of some thunderstorms in the mountains, but if you're nearby, we could see a pop-up thunderstorm with lightning, gusty winds, especially in the mountains is where the strike zone will be today. We're slowly going to dry out a little bit through the weekend, but today and tomorrow up in the mountains, please be extra careful. And 107 for the lake, could see some lightning nearby as well. And we got those 60-mile-an-hour winds near those thunderstorms yesterday. Could see some of those at the lake or neighborhoods today. But look how the temperatures do climb. By Monday, we're 110. Next week, heat warnings. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 113 even heat advisories for the mountains. So get ready. We got to cool it down next week. Let's Let's get on to the roads where we still have those power issues.
Yes, and Kristen Drummond will be reporting live for us at the bottom of the hour, but I was just texting back and forth with her and confirming that NV Energy says these are the power poles that went down in the strong wind yesterday. They look laid out so nicely like they are the replacement ones, but they say when one goes, they all go, because as you know, there were electric cables connecting all of them, and so they all came down. That's why Boulder Highway is closed between Russell Road and Sunset. How to get around? Well, this includes the side streets in the areas. Find your way to Russell or Sunset and just work your way over to the 95-515. To the Spaghetti Bowl we go, where the lanes are open. You just have a lot of company southbound on the 15 heading into the 95 interchange. John, Kirsten?
Nate, thank you. A new mobile medical clinic is up and running here in Southern Nevada.
Touro University opened its third clinic this week thanks to the Golden Knights Foundation. The clinic allows medical staff to go into neighborhoods where they're needed most. Many senior patients can't transport themselves to the doctor, so this helps big time. Touro says this provides accessible and affordable health care.
It's going to provide an extraordinary opportunity for the medical students at Touro University to be able to work while they're still in school with a very fragile population, older Americans.
These mobile facilities that literally go to seniors around the community who may not have transportation and give them the access to health care that they need. And so really all we've done is a small part in helping fund this particular mobile facility.
The Vegas Golden Knights, along with City National Bank and Zappos, covering the cost of the clinic so visits can be free to the patients. The clinic launched yesterday at City National Arena. It'll move around where it's needed. Future stops are planned for Heritage Park and the Downtown Senior Center in Henderson.
6:21 on your Friday morning. One viewer says the long red light waits are driving him absolutely crazy.
Nate reached out to the RTC about it in today's What's Driving You Crazy.
And it is also time for today's Facebook contest.
Register to win on our Facebook page.
Double year-end savings at Planet Nissan.
6:24 on your Finally Friday. A complaint I hear all the time, and the response from the Regional Transportation Commission. Matthew writes, what drives me absolutely crazy? Red lights. No other city has lights that stay red as long as they do here, especially when there's no traffic coming in the other direction. They're all red for 2 to 3 minutes, and when no one's coming in the other direction, it's the most frustrating thing ever. Well, Matthew, I sent your note to the Regional Transportation Commission. They oversee the traffic lights. The RTC's Catherine Liu writes back. She says the timing of the traffic signals is pre-programmed based on the time of day, day of the week, and the travel demand, and the timing can be adjusted by 3 factors. There's the first one. Sensors, including video detection, magnetic loops in the pavement, or infrared technology, can detect vehicle flow to expedite green lights for opposing traffic to keep things moving smoothly. Number 2, pedestrian activity. Say there's a pedestrian crossing Flamingo that would extend the green light for traffic traveling on the side street like Glendale maybe. That's to allow enough time for the pedestrian to cross safely. And third, emergency response vehicles, fire trucks, police cars. They've got special equipment that communicates with the traffic signals, allowing them to turn green to give the first responders a priority as they approach the intersection. That's for the safety of everyone in the roadway. But Catherine wraps up by saying if anybody thinks traffic lights aren't working correctly, you can report them to the RTC at seeingorangenv.com or by calling 928-CONE. Here's that number, 928-CONE. That's 928-2663. Matthew, thanks for writing in. Hope that helps. If there's something driving you crazy, email me, traffic8@lasvegasnow.com.
Thanks so much, Nate. It is 6:26. Last but not least, Sherry will be showing us her cool summer job that she tried for our series.
Could she be a pet? Oh, it doesn't look like it. A pet groomer. We'll have that. The answer is yes. You're watching the Valley's News Leader.
Ladies. Now, Live, this is 8 News Now. Good day.
6:30 Friday morning. Thank you very much for waking up with us on Good Day. I'm John Langler.
I'm Kirsten Joyce. Crazy night. Several rounds of thunder showers rolling through the valley last night. Whoa, look at that lightning. We had hail, powerful wind, heavy downpours, and of course the lightning.
This is some time-lapse video from one of our sky cams last night. You can see the palm tree there blowing around and all that lightning we were just talking about coming from the sky. One viewer sent us this, a palm tree on fire near Hacienda and Nellis. That whole tree just engulfed in flames.
Yikes. There was also some areas that had flooded roads. This is near Bonanza and Hollywood from last night. We do have team coverage at this hour on the aftermath of the storms with Sherry Nate and Kristen Drummond reporting from the scene. We'll send things over first to Sherry to see if more rain is on the way.
All right.
Question.
Yes, it is a good question. And you know, we start out every day pretty quiet, Nate.
Yeah.
But that's not the way we finish the days.
Oh my gosh, they fire up.
Holy cow. Now today may be a little bit different. We're starting out with some pretty good cloud cover, and the atmosphere, let's face it, is tired. It was quite a workout yesterday. Temperatures in the 80s this morning. That's noticeably different and cooler than where we've been almost every morning this week in the 90s. But also you'll notice that the humidity is up quite a bit, up over 50%. These were some explosive thunderstorms yesterday, which brought lightning, gusty winds, heavy downpours, and some of those winds were clocked at over 60 miles an hour at Nellis, over 50 at the Boulder City Airport, North Las Vegas, more than 50-mile-an-hour winds. And look at these crazy rain totals, 2/3 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch on the far, far east edge of the valley. Up in the mountains, almost an inch of rain, and those thunderstorms started even before noontime, even flood warnings that were posted as well. So let's take a look. Some of the video was tremendous. Listen to it too. Oh, that just, I don't know about you guys, that gives me goosebumps when I hear thunder like that. Dennis Mosqueda from Lake Mead and Hollywood area sent us that lightning and thunder. You can hear the rain. Oh, that sounds so good. I had really heavy rain at my house for about 15 to 20 minutes, too, in the northwest part of town. So some areas just really enjoyed the heavy rain, but boy, it was damaging with the winds. We even had palm tree fires. Kristen Drummond is live out in the area where there are power outages and still some folks in the dark this morning. Thank goodness the sun is up. Let's check on those power outages. Kristen.
Sherry, Boulder Highway area is where the storm came through last night, knocked out power to thousands of customers, of course, not only here, but across the valley. But cleanup is still continuing here around Boulder Highway. You can see NV Energy crews trying to restore power. There are power poles that were completely knocked down from this storm. Also, some just split in half by the sheer power of the storm coming through last night, heavy winds, and you can see power lines drooping down along Boulder Highway to the various areas where NV Energy is right now trying to restore power. Last check saw that NV Energy is reporting less than 1,100 people still without power around the valley. Majority of those power outages, roughly 1,000 in and around the Henderson area. So crews right now working tirelessly to try and bring power back to people as they're waking up this morning. Now on the west side of the valley, a storm uprooted a large tree near Decatur and Alta outside of home, all thanks to wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour in some parts of the valley. So knocking over that tree as well as power lines. Some neighbors came outside to check it out. The tree seemed to damage the wall, the lawn, and blocked part of the street. Across the valley at Decatur and Alta on the northwest side, some flooding on the street from that storm. Remember, intersections tend to flood easily, so if you see an area flooded, turn around, don't drown. I know we say that a lot, but truly that can save your life. Driving through and getting stuck can carry a fine. Even minor flooding can cause hydroplaning, so take it easy when you do see water pooling on the road. NV Energy does expect to have power restored around 7:15 this morning, so that should be in about 45 minutes. As you can see, they are still tirelessly working to get power to those people around here in Henderson. But as they're doing that, that means Boulder Highway is shut down. Parts of it is shut down at the moment, along with some of the side streets that lead into it. Nate has the latest update for you on your morning commute. Nate?
Kristen, thank you so much. An incredible view as the folks from the Regional Transportation Commission's Fast Camera Operations Center are making sure that they've got their signals in line because of the complete closure of Boulder Highway between Russell Road and Sunset. We'll show you on our social media that photograph of the power lines that are down. So here they are doing the diversions. This is a live picture, so they're rotating the camera around, checking on things, but we want to make sure that you get the latest information as well. So here's Russell Road and Sunset and Boulder Highway closed in between. The way to get around it, even on the side streets, find your way to Russell or Sunset, work your way west on either Russell or Sunset, and just jump on the 95-515. That'll get you where you're going. Meantime, the southbound I-15, it is busy through the Spaghetti Bowl, but please check out our social media. 8 News Now Twitter and Facebook has that incredible picture of power lines down on Boulder Highway. John and Kirsten.
All right, thanks very much for that update, Nate. We're going to travel back to the 80s, folks. We've got an 80s theme taking over the Discovery Children's Museum beginning tomorrow.
Yeah, it lasts all week, and Hector Mejia is going back in time right now, previewing this fundraiser. Hector, good morning to you.
Good morning. Back in time the whole week. The museum have programming, 80s themed programming building. We all know it is very interactive museum.
Oh, shoot. The 80s was doing some wacky, weird science with his microphone.
Weird Science is a good 80s reference, and
yes.
It was kind of like Max Headroom. It was just like,
yes.
kind of was starting a little bit.
Yes.
So he really was going back in time.
All right, we hope to get him back, folks. We do apologize for that, but we hope we can pop him back up to talk more about the fundraiser at the Children's Museum.
Yes.
In the meantime, President Trump is inviting Russian President Vladimir Putin to Washington, D.C.
I'll tell you about the second summit the president wants to hold for both leaders and the reaction from Republicans.
And it is Sherry's turn for our cool summer jobs, the dog days of summer. Let's see how she does with the pooches.
As the Valley's news leader.
You're watching the Valley's news leader with Kirsten Joyce, John Langler, Sherry Swensk, and and Nate Tannenbaum. This is 8 News Now. Good day.
We continue our cool summer job series, and as you know, it is the dog days of summer. So I figured, why not turn to the pups themselves to see how they survive these hot, sultry months. And thanks to experienced groomers like Suzanne, who trained me, the dogs stay clean, clipped, and snipped to help them beat the heat. But she only makes it look easy.
Let's face it, this is a dirty job. So I've decided to be trained by the best. Suzanne Zalatel owns Dapper Dogs. She's been grooming pups for nearly 20 years.
Do they bite?
Not him, no. Some dogs do, but not him at all. He's super sweet.
This is Oreo, a sweet but stinky 13-year-old Shih Tzu. I can tell by the look on his face that he's excited to have me as his groomer trainee today.
Actually, bath is a lot harder than a lot of people think.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Nope, she wasn't kidding.
You never want to leave a dog unattended. I always wash every dog twice. Scrub the feet really, really good, the paw pads.
He seems to like baths.
Well, he's stinky, so of course he likes it. Use a different shampoo for the front. Sorry.
Come here, babe, I'm sorry. Come here. I know, don't hide in the corner, really. It's my first time. Be kind.
Suzanne says the more often you get your dog groomed, the more they get used to it, and the less traumatizing it is for them and for her.
Majority of small dogs require you do their anal glands.
Okay. Should we define that for the audience?
Well, it's really kind of nasty. Keep your face away.
She's doing it now.
Lift the tail up, and then you kind of, there's 2 glands back here, and you squeeze.
Oh,
you see that?
Oh, yeah, I see it.
And it's pretty stinky.
Ugh.
And then you rinse it real good, and then now we're gonna wash the dog.
How was that? He does eat it. I think it was good for him.
Now it's time to blow dry. Oreo seems to like this part, and he's dry and fluffy in no time. So now we're ready to clip, snip, and shave. Wait, shave?
Oh, his hair's so pretty. I'm really gonna take it off. I'm gonna take it off.
We're gonna take everything off.
As a trainee, you can imagine I was full of so many questions.
Why does he do that? It's scaring me. Is it okay? And it's okay to shave down there?
Yes.
Do dogs get earwax like people do? Am I doing this right? Shouldn't have worn lip gloss. So it's like shaving your own armpits, right? So what got you interested in being a dog groomer, Suzanne?
Honestly, I'm not a huge people person.
You do better with animals?
I do.
Oh my goodness.
I like animals better than people.
Suzanne says a lot of times people don't appreciate the time-consuming care and hard work that goes into grooming their pets.
It's not like when you go to the barber or you go to the hairdresser, no one does your toes and your fingernails and, cleans your ears or washes your butt or, you know what I mean? It's just so involved.
For sure, this is not an easy job. So I'll assist while Suzanne and fellow groomer Christy do the real work.
You look so handsome. Looks like you're going out to dinner. Thanks, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
This was fun. Well, I did a fair amount of the work myself. You saw it with your own eyes. I'm not going to lie, I smelled like the stinky version of Oreo for quite a while until I could get home and get in the shower, clean myself up. And think about it, Suzanne has to smell like that all day while she's doing dogs for like 8-12 hours a day. A good groomer, according to Suzanne, is usually found by word of mouth. Now, here's really good inside information. While grooming shops have to be licensed, groomers themselves do not. So ask around, check out a shop, get personal references, ask your friends who they use, and really you just have to find the groomer that agrees with your pup and find a good fit.
Oh, that's a good
And
point.
it may take a couple of times, and it's like finding your own hairstylist.
Yeah.
Although, like Suzanne said, a hairstylist is probably not going to clip your nails and clean your ears and your derriere like she has to do all that stuff.
Let's hope not.
I don't know what kind of a barbershop that is.
So she says, a lot of times people just don't appreciate, they think the price is too high, but when you see what all goes into grooming your dog, and and she's very conscientious, and they take good care to make sure that your animal is is taken care of and not scared. And
feel safe and secure.
Of course, she's been grooming Oreo for 12 years. So she's very, Corey is very comfortable there.
Well, and plus, I mean, Oreo seemed pretty mellow and tame, but some dogs, I'd imagine they go in there and they go nuts.
They fight the water, they fight the,
She gets bitten. She's been bitten before and scratched. I mean,
but what about the dogs?
What? Them too. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not an easy job. So the next time that you pick your dog up and you look at the price and go, now you know what goes into it, and appreciate them, and maybe a little tip.
You did quite well, Sherry.
Well, thanks. I learned a lot.
You got into things, elbow grease.
Yes, and other stuff. Yes. Okay.
Shampoo, conditioner. Cool.
All right. It is the dog days of summer, everybody. It has certainly felt like it. We've had the combination of heat and humidity, and this is the time in July when we just sweat it out. But now yesterday, we kind of got a bonus with some really nice rain. But of course, with all that rain came lightning and gusty winds. We even had hail, but we got to cool off a little bit with the rain. Thank goodness. We are down into the 80s this morning. Remember, we've started out the mornings with 90s, and that's way too hot. 79 in Aliante is what it feels like. Centennial Hills the same, 85 in Green Valley. And still, it feels like the 70s up there in the mountains, though. So the combination of the heat and the humidity is what gives us the feels like temperature, the heat index. Feels like 84 at Red Rock, 80 in Pahrump. Still looking for the chance of thunderstorms, mainly in the mountains, but any of us could be in line for one of those pop-up thunderstorms. If you're traveling, wow, Dallas, into Oklahoma, Arkansas, all of Texas, pretty much in Louisiana in those excessive heat watches and warnings. They've got not only the feels like temperatures, the heat indices in the triple digits, but also the actual temperatures that have been over 100 degrees. So talk about hot and sultry. The southern plains really sweating it out. All right, so we've got the active monsoon. You can see still all the cloud cover on the satellite. The radar shows the explosion of thunderstorms yesterday. If you're going to Zion National Park or the Grand Canyon or Flagstaff or any of those areas, look for the opportunity of thunderstorms today. If you're heading to the beaches, then you're probably going to be okay. But wow, along with the rain comes the vivid lightning and those gusty winds. And we have some video of, thank you to all our viewers who sent in great video. Unfortunately, there's damage as well. This is a downed tree, and I'm sorry we did not get the name of the viewer who sent this in, but it's a tree that was hit with gusty winds and fell over into their fence. So there's going to be a lot of repairs, unfortunately. We also have lightning pictures. These are courtesy of Ann Myers in Henderson, who took some amazing photos of the lightning last night during the thunderstorm. So thank you to everybody who posts on our social media pages, Facebook, Twitter. Please keep those up, put your videos out. We appreciate that. So again, we had 60+ mile-an-hour winds at Nellis, 50+ at Boulder City Airport. North Las Vegas Airport also the same. And then we had 2/3 to 3/4 of an inch of rain out on the far east side of town, over a 1/2 inch to 2/3 up in the west, northwest sides. There was a lot of rain out there and a lot of wind and lightning. All right, so we're still going to look for pop-up thunderstorms, Arizona mainly, our local mountains. We'll be hot today. This model puts us at 106. I've got us at 107, and you can see near 110 along the Colorado River Valley. 647, we're hopping on the roads. Still problems because of those down power lines, Nate.
Yeah, Sherry, you talked about the amazing video and photographs. Well, here's an amazing one as well. If you're just getting ready and don't have a moment, try to make one, because this is an incredible view, a live picture from the Regional Transportation Commission's camera looking at Boulder Highway. And these are the power lines that were snapped by Mother Nature. Our reporter Kristen Drummond on the scene talked with the NV Energy guys. They say, yeah, when this first one went down, the rest fell just like dominoes because of those wires. So here's the deal. Boulder Highway remains closed between Russell Road and Sunset. Even the side streets, you're going to have to find your way to Russell or to Sunset and work your way west to the 95-515. That is moving along in fairly decent shape. Otherwise, we're just looking at heavy traffic in the Spaghetti Bowl. John, Kirsten.
Thanks, Nate.
6:48 on your Friday morning. Starbucks has opened a new signature store in the nation's capital.
The special needs people it will help out in the store. Plus.
Good morning ahead on CBS This Morning. We're in Branson, Missouri after a duck boat capsized, killing at least 11 people. We'll talk with the president of the company that owns the boat. And about 70% of your Instagram feed is travel related. We'll look at how the popular app is becoming the modern day travel agent.
Time now for your 3 top stories before you head out the door this morning.
President Trump is inviting Russian President Vladimir Putin to Washington, D.C. for a second summit expected to take place September. Lawmakers hope in this future summit it will be more transparent about what will be discussed. If President Putin denies Russian meddling in U.S. elections again, Republican Senator Jeff Flake of Arizona said he wants to see an immediate, swift rebuttal from the president and the entire Republican Party as well. It has been a decade since a Russian leader visited the White House.
Rescue workers are searching for tourists who went missing after a boat capsized. This is happening in Missouri right now. Officials say more than 30 people were on board a duck boat when it went underwater. 11 people have died. Weather's believed to be a factor on this. We should have a special report on this from CBS News at 7.
And Starbucks is opening a store in Washington, D.C. where every worker will know sign language. The coffee house will be close to Goddard University, the world's only liberal arts institution of higher learning for the deaf. Starbucks says at least 20 deaf and hard of hearing employees will be hired for the signing store location. Raiders and county leaders say construction of the new Raiders Stadium is staying on its $1.84 billion budget.
At yesterday's Stadium Authority Board meeting, officials said the site is actually seeing about $4 million of work every day. Progress is keeping the project on pace to be finished by July of 2020.
I think it's reassuring for everyone in this room, everyone in the community. This is obviously a public-private partnership, and you want to make sure that the project's on budget, and so far it is, and on time, and so far it is. Just the scope of what's been accomplished in 5, 6, 7 days, it's really incredible how much is going up and how quickly.
The construction effort has spent 15% of the total cost, about $300 million so far. 20% of the concrete has been placed. The quiz will come at the end of the show.
Yes, it will. We'll be right back with one last look at weather and a look at your closures.
During our coupon event at RC Willey.
Good Friday morning, everybody. Things are quiet now, but last night, I want to thank George Knapp for sending in his own video. That was my own sound effects. From Frenchman's Mountain, looking off across the valley. Oh, listen to the rain and hear the lightning and the thunder. See the lightning, hear the thunder. Yeah, it was quite a show last night. We're quiet this morning, but we have got a mix of clouds and sun. And I also want to thank Monique Chambers. Check this out, guys. They heard a loud crash during the height of the storms last night. This is somebody's shed that wound up on their fence next to their house when they went outside to see what all the noise was about. This is some of the crazy stuff that goes on when you have 50 to 60 mile an hour winds and all that heavy rain and all that crazy lightning. We'll look for 107 today with the threat of thunderstorms in the mountains. So please be safe out there if you're going to the higher elevations. Best chance of storms in the mountains today. Next week, you've got to be safe from the heat. We've got heat warnings Tuesday through Thursday, 113. Oh my gosh, Nate. All right, power outages still from the storm. What's up?
Yeah, the power of Mother Nature, as you just showed that photograph of the shed. Here's what Mother Nature did to the power lines on Boulder Highway between Sunset and Russell Road. We were thinking that maybe just one power pole was blown down or maybe more than one, but as a result, they all came down. So Boulder Highway remains closed between Russell Road and Sunset from the side streets to Boulder Highway itself. Work your way to Russell or Sunset and over to the 95-515. We'll continue to keep you posted when they reopen it, John.
Nate, thank you. It is time to take a look at the markets. Just opened out in New York, and right now the Dow is down about 17, 16 points or so. Yesterday, the Dow lost 134 points. The NASDAQ finished the day 29 points lower. As Channel 8 celebrates 65 years in the Valley, we're taking a look back at some of the people who've made our station what it is today. 4 people were inducted into our Hall of Fame. Joseph Cunningham, a pioneer in television news. Bob Walsh, who joined back in the 1980s. He was a reporter, a news and weather anchor, and a producer. Caroline Bleakley was also inducted. There she is. She still is here. She started at Channel 8 as a reporter and has helped out pushing our digital efforts here on Channel 8, now our senior web producer.
Yay.
And, of course, Chris Matthews, our award-winning sports director, covers all things sports day in, day out. Congratulations to all of them. And now they're in the Hall of Fame.
That's right, and be sure to watch our 65th anniversary special tomorrow evening. That's Saturday evening, taking a look back at the last 65 years right here on Channel 8.
Yeah. Been a lot of good times here at Channel 8 for
Yes.
sure. And still are.
Yes, there's more to come.
Of course.
Maybe
Have a
another
great
65.
weekend.